Hi there, Jackie Haley here with dreamtoauthor.com. I get to introduce Leigh Michaels. She is the author of over 100 books. Can you tell me a little bit about your bookshelf behind you?
The bookshelf behind me is one copy of each of my books in all the different editions.
Our audience generally we're talking with and I'm working with first-time book writers, first-time authors that are trying to get their book out, whether they're in the writing stage, the publishing stage, or the marketing stage. But I just wondered if you could give us any of your aha moments or some things that you have learned, especially when you are writing your first book.
One of them was realizing that in every project, and I find this is true to some extent with most authors, in every project there are 2 points where I really hang up. And one of them is just shortly into the book, a chapter 2, maybe 3, about a quarter of the way into the project. And what I've found out with experience is that that's merely the honeymoon being over. It was a wonderful idea. It was a fantastic idea. And now that I'm a little bit into it, I see the problems. And then there's another point close to the end where it just feels like this is never going to come together. I'm never going to be able to make this project work. You may have problems. You may need to start over, but it doesn't mean that that's a bad idea.
Right, right.
Push on through.
Absolutely. I teach some of our clients, some of my clients, just work through the problem, look at it from a different perspective, maybe walk away from it for a bit and come back to it. Look at it with fresh eyes and see if you can find a different angle to do that. So that's a great insight. Do you have any really great tips that you would have for new authors that are coming out?
One is to maintain flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish I had realized when I first started with Harlequin, and I loved working with Harlequin. If I had it to do over again, I would try to maintain more flexibility and not just work with one publisher, not just work with one kind of book. And indeed, that's what I ended up doing. After I had written 80 books for Harlequin, I got a little burned out. No, I got a lot burned out. Another thing that helped me through my career was having a nonfiction project and a fiction project at the same time. And I think that would work with 2 very different fiction projects as well. If you bog down on one of them, you can go to work on the other one and not have that sense of, oh, there are days going by and I'm not accomplishing anything.
Right. You also have some things that you do to help authors along. And I will tell you, anybody that's looking into Leigh Michaels, you were a great inspiration for me because you were definitely a good reality check. I had my first book edited from you years and years and years ago, and you gave me a 6-page typed letter with feedback and, of all the things I did wrong, which is, when you first look at it, it's just like, oh my goodness. But it was very, very good constructive criticism. And I took every single point to heart and I got to work and I got through it. And I ended up with an endorsement from the largest newspaper in the state of Iowa for that first book. So I really valued your input. And
I'm so glad to hear that it all worked out and very happy for the success of that project. Yes, I do edit book manuscripts. I do mainly romance, but not necessarily. And I have, there's a spot on my website, which is leighmichaels.com, LEIGHMICHAELS.com. And then there's a button that says Help for Writers. And there's also a link on there to my editing service, which is called a Wordsworth. And in that area are some of the things that I offer.
Like she said, if you have interest in getting in touch with Leigh Michaels, please visit her website. She does amazing work. And thank you for joining us today. And thanks so much, Leigh.
Thank you, Jackie. It's been wonderful.